line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's race day. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up.
It's a beautiful day down here at Daytona International Speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida, as the drivers of Champion Power Equipment are about to bring the hammer down after their duels and all that has come before them. It's time for the main event of their showcase. The race season is upon them. A new season starts here and now on Pizza Racing TV. Hi, and I am the Crusader Christian Shriver. Alongside me today is, of course, Mr. Cody McRae. Cody, good to have you back on board, sir, and good to hear from you. This one looks to be a hot-scotch fight out tonight as we're getting ready for the drivers of the Champion Power Equipment Fast Fun Cup Series.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this race. It's the first race of the season, high tensions. It's a points race. I'm just ready to see some action.
Definitely ready to see some action indeed, and as we get ready to talk with the drivers from the dual winners as well as the other drivers that are looking to make a name for themselves here, just kind of looking around here. I mean, we've watched what they did last week with having only a set amount of cars out there. Now looking at what they have today, I mean, NASCAR really has truly outstandingly, in my opinion, just set a draft package that iRacing has followed that now really has kind of given everybody a real good chance and a real good race out here on this track.
Yeah, when they done the duels last week, I mean, like you said, it was a smaller field, and now we got everybody on the track at once. I mean, you had to have patience last race, last duels. You're going to have to really have patience. Just take your time. It's 80 laps. I mean, anything could happen.
Anything can happen indeed here, and right now as we're getting ready to showcase to you drivers and the folks, the stars and the cars. I think it's time we go and take a look at our track tech talk for the evening before we begin with that. So let's take it down and take a look at this here. We're on a 2.5 mile long length Daytona International Speedway. This track is without a doubt the most famous track that all of NASCAR knows for not only just the Daytona 500, but its legacy is left behind in all of North America and motorsports in general. It is a track that really was started from the foundation that was down in the actual beaches themselves, the beach road course, which then was built upon to build this track up that we see today. With so many great memories and so many great experiences here, the wind and the weather and all that is pretty much kind of staying stable, so I would say expect a lot of hard racing, a lot of hard cornering, but really the main thing is, Cody, I think it's just how do people react when they get into the drafts or they get into the bumping, swinging, and jumping around here.
Yeah, like we've seen in the duels last week, everybody was shifting side to side trying to find that line and wearing out that right rear, I think it was. And, I mean, people was getting loose coming out of forward just spinning by themselves, so that's something to watch out for this race.
Certainly is indeed right now. As we finish up our warm-up session, let's take it down now. It's time to talk with the dual winners. We'll start up with dual winner number 1 and the number 1 camp tonight. It's Brad Patton here, and that's Ford Mustang. And Brad, it's good to hear from you again, sir. But right now, I mean, there's definitely a target on you and Eli Child's backs after winning the duels. You start front row and center. What's going through your mind right now as you prepare to go to battle with them? You might not be able to hear us at the moment, folks, so just give him a second. And don't think he's got the call here. Brad, any word? Nope. Nope, I guess not here. So we'll just go ahead and leave him alone, I guess, and we'll start up with the second of our drivers here. Here's Eli the Wild Child here. Childs, right now, as we get ready for the duels here, we were trying to talk to Brad Patton. We couldn't get a hold of him, but we'll get in touch with you here. So you were dual winner number 2. And I definitely could say there's a lot of a target on your back as well. So I'll ask you this here. Well, what's going to be the strategy here just to try and fight and survive with these guys today?
Oh, I don't know. It's things have been kind of crazy here in practice. So hopefully we're getting all this madness out now and not in the race. But it should be a good show. Starting 4th on the outside. So I got quite a few teammates behind me. So I think we should be all right to start, and hopefully we can keep it up out front.
For sure there. Well, like I said before, there's about 25 hungry drivers out here looking to get you and the other field here beaten down to the pack, but you have certainly got a big head on your shoulders and a lot going on. Best of luck down there.
Appreciate it.
Team Dump and Run represented by the Wild Child, Eli Childs there in the number 9. As we get ready to kind of get settled up here, let's take it down now and talk with some of our other guys here today. Representing from the NPR crew, I guess we're going with the Dump and Run series today. It is the 56 John Thacker. John, there's one thing we've always kind of noticed too with you and your style of racing is that these plate tracks do kind of come in handy at times for you, and at the same time they can be a bit of a hassle. How do you try to prepare for what you're about to deal with here now at Daytona?
Well, there's no preparing for it. It's luck, I think, would be the biggest deal. I try to hang the bottom, so I'll have more options to avoid the big one, and I'll just cut to the grass and hope for the best. But other than that, I just try to stay patient and not force something, and try to be somewhere close to the front at the end of the race.
For sure.
You see me, it has paid off before, and sometimes it hasn't. So
Yeah,
you never know.
that certainly is the case here, John. So, nevertheless, though, I know a lot going through your plate and a lot in your mind here. What would it mean to you to get the first win of the season?
That would start the season off nice for sure. I'd love to do it with some heavy hitters in this league, and if I could beat them here, that would mean a lot.
For sure there.
I'd be excited.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, John, we do appreciate your time here, sir. Best of luck out here.
All right, man. Take it easy.
The NPR crew representing with John do a dump and run this time around, but they're still out to put on a fight, put on a show, as is this man we just brought into the show now. Ladies and gentlemen, last night's feature winner, the Richard Fornshow camp is in the house. Richard, right now, you have a wave of success going on from Nashville Super Speedway going in here to Daytona. How do you kind of ride the confidence level and build that back up as you try to now switch from a truck to the next gens?
I mean, obviously very different tracks, so I don't know. Hopefully, I can take that confidence, and that'll put me right on the edge of making the bold moves that I need to get to the front and possibly win this thing, but not push me so far that I'm overly aggressive. That makes sense.
It certainly does make sense indeed. So, well, I'll ask this real quick here. I mean, last night, you obviously were on 1 mile and a third. Now you're going to 2.5 mile. I mean, obviously, it's a different change of pace, different change in scenery, but I mean, there is one thing I think maybe you could take away from what you did in Nashville to what you had to do here is definitely the tire wear is a bit of an example here, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely it's one of those things you don't think about it much here because you think, oh well, I'm just going out there and I'm not really doing anything to wear the tires, but it'll creep up on you. There's been a lot of guys. I mean, you could even see it in the Coke series where guys kind of wore their tires down and it caught them out and they got loose and ended up bending it. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. You got to pay attention. You got to realize, if you need to take tires and not let that sneak up on you that way.
A lot on the play and on the line for the Fornshell camp, but let's see if you can pull this one off today, bud. Good luck out here.
Thanks, bud. Take care.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Fornshell and the number 90 have a little chat here. Cody, I'll let you go ahead and pick a driver in here. What out of the list here, who do you think we should bring in next?
Let's do Willie Man, the man with the plan, Junior.
Willie Man with the plan, Junior. I don't think I've ever heard that in my life as a nickname, but I think he will definitely appreciate it here. So, Willie Man Junior now on the line, ladies and gentlemen. Here, William, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good, man. Glad to be off a road course.
Well, I mean, you weren't on a road course last night, obviously, down in Nashville. You were on the oval, but now, obviously, things have changed up a bit. How do you feel kind of going to this one?
Pretty good, man. Setup's good. Setup's quick. Feels stable. I don't know, Nashville, I felt like I was going left, right, dodging through traffic, so it's kind of road course to still.
Well, I guess however you want to look at it in this case. So, but obviously, we're going into this one here. We come from the duels and come from the battles we saw there. How much of those duels did you learn about from the draft and how to really handle and manipulate this car to try to find yourself in a top spot today?
Pretty much just knowing where people are going to run and how they're going to dodge between lines has really helped me out with those duels. Mainly the duels, we were just trying to play it safe so we get a good start. Try to be away from some of the eye of the storm. We ran the Daytona 500 with the same set. We came back from 35th. We ended up 5th, so I'm pretty confident this thing's a rocket ship. It's just staying in the right position and not making any mistakes tonight. Just being smart.
Absolutely there. Well, McRae, you picked this man to come talk to. You got a question for him in this case?
With the does that you run, like you said, you was way back in the back, and you got up to 5th. How do you take that from the does and use it tonight to better yourself even more up in position and maybe even try to win this thing?
Well, for me, it's always with these plate tracks is trying to be patient as possible and giving people room because they're going to get impatient or they're going to think they have a run or a hole and they probably don't. And making sure they don't take us, the heck out of a contention spot. We don't want to get run over or get beat up and kicked out back. So just trying to stay with a healthy pack, watching where guys are going to pit at tonight is going to be key. Making sure we don't get left behind.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Willie Man Jr., he certainly got a lot going down, a lot on the plate, but we know one thing's for sure. The Man Jr. is always out to play it hard. Thank you for your time, sir.
Appreciate you, sir.
All right, Cody, one more driver you can pick, and then I'll see if I can pick another one here.
Let's do Craig Janzik. He's the #1 practice right now, so let's bring him in.
All right, you want to listen to Craig Janzik? We'll bring in Janzik now. He's coming down on the show, #1 in qualifying, and now on the track here. Janzik, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great, buddy. How are we doing?
Well, we're doing all right here on our end. So last night, obviously, we watched you make it into the Final Four here at Nashville Super Speedway. But now, as you said before, this race and this is going to mean a lot to you and your crew because you are on the road to pro, as you mentioned, and you're trying to get a little bit better on the track. How much do these next gens really kind of better you as a driver when it comes to facing challenges like this?
Yeah, the next gen takes a good bit more talent than the Gen 6 does. That's for sure. So you definitely have a lot more handwork to get refamiliarized with. I got to be honest, I don't think a whole ton of it really relays over to the truck directly. But either way, you know, every lap you turn on the track, you get a little bit more exposure with your surroundings, and you feel a little bit better about, you know, your own confidence, and you know, maybe for people that are struggling in that department, you know, every time I say, you know, what can I do to get, every time someone asks what can I do to get better, you know, you just got to put in the laps, and that's what we're doing here, running some pit practice. That was the first one that I thought went really well, aside from the fact that we caught that pack and they were slow. So yeah, I mean, you know, you know, we set the lineup last week with the duels. I think I'm starting ninth, which is pretty good overall for how I race restrictor plates. And yeah, I really hope that we can get some green flag running here. Optimistic for that. I don't know how well it's going to go, but yeah, there's a lot of checkups and a lot of wiggling and stuff. So I hope it goes green, man, because, you know, obviously that's what we always hope for. But yeah.
McRae?
We've lost McRae.
I was about to say,
Oh,
McRae. I was gonna
yeah, I'm
say,
here.
can I give you a question here for him, bud?
Let's see. I mean, you've been hot the whole time, like with the duels and stuff, and you're coming into the Daytona 500, the first race, first points race. How do you want to come up on top, knowing that you're leading the points if you do win this race?
It makes a huge difference, and it's also an automatic playoff berth. So I think that using that, having that automatic playoff berth at our disposal this season, it's different than past. First of all, it's also going to change how a lot of people race, and I think, you know, that could favor someone like me, who usually does end up on the aggressive side of things, even as simple as strategy. So there's a lot more to race for. I bring in a lot more experience with the next gen at restrictor plate than most, having run the podium 500, 200, you know, 200 laps of this car at this track at this day setting. So I think that I like to think of myself as a favorite for this. I've won a lot of restrictor plate races in this league, and from what I'm seeing, I think I'm a pretty darn good pusher in comparison to a lot of other people. So I hope to be able to use that to my advantage, because when you get the white flag, you don't want to be first in this package. So I think, you know, I'm really hopeful that we can find ourselves in the top 4, even getting the white flag, because I think that that's enough that I can say that that's a spot I want to be in. So it's a lot of new things for us as a league. We have a few new faces as well, making their appearances. A couple of guys, you know, that I know from officials and stuff. So it's yeah, and we got a lot of new things to look forward to. A couple of old rituals to make sure we have prim and proper. But yeah, super happy to, you know, have both of you guys in the booth for this season as well with BTM, because you guys in the clash and even the duels, you know, you guys are meshing off each other really well, and I really like that. You know, it's a great thing to watch, and all the viewers should, you know, feel that as a privilege, just like I do.
For sure there.
Yeah,
Well,
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
well, Janzik, you got a lot of drivers trying to come after you and kind of take your number and take your place, but right now you're still at the top of the list here that everyone wants to take down. Best of luck out here.
Thanks, man. Look forward to hopefully talking to you afterward.
Absolutely. Greg Janzik, ladies and gentlemen, the number 40, having a little chat here. So I want to go ahead. I think I'm going to bring in Jason Taylor here in the number 15. I've seen him and kind of pushed and shoved around a little bit, so I think he needs a little love from us here. So let's bring him in real quick here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Taylor now on the call and on the list here. And Jason, really, we've kind of been watching a little bit in your practice here, and it seems like either if you can catch that draft, things are working good, and then sometimes you end up getting kind of punted around a little bit. When you get a bump from those guys in the back, and that draft, or they're coming right up to you from the draft, how hard is it to kind of hold these things online?
Well, if they hit you square, it's not too bad. You get in trouble if they get you a little bit like on the corner of the car. It's not too bad. I got a pretty good piece here. Unfortunately, starting in the back, so I gotta try to figure out when I want to try to get to the front, or if I want to stay back and play it safe. But I was just trying to put myself 3 wide in some rough positions there to get a feel for what this thing's gonna do.
What's the pros and cons about going up front, staying up there, versus wanting to stay in the back and kind of stay out of trouble?
Well, I think if you're in the top 5, the chances of getting wrecked are lower. It seems to happen about 5th back. And if I hang back in the back, just behind the pack, you can basically stop and just avoid it. So being that I'm starting in the back, I'll probably ride back there and let the race develop a little bit. Going to try to get with a teammate and see how fast we can get to the front, so I kind of know when I need to go at the end. But really and truly, just try to not get my car tore up tonight and be there at the end and see if I can win this thing.
Well, you definitely are a bit of a smarter driver than most some at times, so we'll see if you can.
I agree with that sometimes. Sometimes, yeah.
Well,
I
I
can
didn't
be
want
an
to
idiot.
try. We all can. I'll admit up front, I've done that
Yeah.
on plenty of the short tracks. Just after
Yeah.
with Gray, I took a few guys with me on the
Oh,
late
yeah.
models at Hickory, so.
I've done a
Yeah.
few bonehead moves in my day.
Haven't we all? Well, nevertheless, Jason, just make sure you don't pull
All
the
right.
Keselowski and keep it under your wheels tonight, man. Good luck out
I'm
there.
going to do my best. All right. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Oh man, some of these guys are characters. I'll tell you that much, Mo McRae. I think we got time for maybe two more, but there's one driver I want to make sure we get in before we get to the race in here, and that is the defending champion right here now, ladies and gentlemen, number 55 driver James Harris.
Hey Chris, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good, bud. Well, I don't think you were expecting to hear that ever anytime soon, but you are the defending champion, my friend. What's it like to go into this one?
Yeah, man, that has a good ring to it, doesn't it? After all these seasons, it's finally good to have that behind my name. So now that we got that out of the way, we're going to have some fun this season. It's going to be the toughest one yet. New car, a lot of good drivers in this season, so it's going to be a blast, man.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, I will say this, though. You've got a pretty decent-looking car and a little bit of a new style on that. What was with the change in the number as well as also the sponsorship? What do you got going on down there?
Well, I'm a huge Kevin Harvick fan, so that's why I used the number 4 for a while. But I figured, it's time for me to do my own identity, come up with my own number. That's why I switched to the 55. There's kind of a reason for it. I'll have to tell you off camera. But I like the number. Number style looks good. Cincinnati is a new sponsor with BSM. They sponsor Tom Majeski in the Truck Series, so they've joined us for our leagues as well. So I'm going to run them on my car some, along with Champion. And in our Truck Series, they're going to be with us over there too. I believe Green Mountain Grills is now with Wilcox, so we're all representing the league sponsors pretty well.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Harris, I'll ask this last question for you. You pretty much got a whole lot of drivers that want to do the same thing they did with you and Eli Childs when you were back at Auto Club, and that's try to knock you guys down and take you off the top of the mountain. Obviously, you did that with Janzik as well as Lorenzo last season, but now you have the weight of the world in this next gen. How difficult is this next gen to convert from that Gen 6?
It's a completely different car, man. Maybe not here at Daytona. Of course, the draft is a lot easier here than the Gen 6 was, but at the mile and a half from the sessions I've been doing, this car can just snap loose on you, especially if you overdrive it on entry. So I think the guys that you're going to see shine in Cup this season are going to be the guys that can finesse a car, drive it on the edge and get the most out of it, kind of like Jimmy Johnson used to do. He liked his cars extremely loose. But the guys that relied on the Gen 6's downforce to just drive it hard into a corner and it stick, they're going to have a little trouble with this new car. I'm sure you'll see that in a couple of weeks when we go to Vegas. But it's a handful. I know we got a target on our back, but you know what? We're going to do it just like we did last season. Just be consistent, and in the playoffs, if we're there, we're going to go for it and see what we can do.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Harris, we do appreciate your time as we begin the new season. The season starts up here in just 1 minute.
10-4, let's go.
Indeed, indeed. James Harris, ladies and gentlemen, the defending champion. Cody, I think really we've struck gold, my friend. We've got over 28 drivers now in here. 29 have made the call and made the list. This is insane. I mean, we saw what these dual drivers can do, and this is pretty crazy here when they got to get this one figured out.
Yeah, I mean, 28, 29 cars, and I'm sitting here looking at the times on them, and the whole field is within 1.2 seconds from the last place driver to the first place driver, and it's going to be a tight packed race tonight.
Tight pack racing, tight corner exits, entries, and everything. And if you ask me, I feel as though there is no better way to find out who is the starter that can hold all the marbles and hold all the charge in their hands. as we get ready tonight's action here, presented in part, of course, by Champion Power Equipment. If you guys need some power generators and some tools to get the job done in the right place at the right time, there's only one brand and name that everyone trusts in and that all rely on, and that is Champion Power Equipment. You be sure to head over to their website at www.championpowerequipment.com, and also check out their local listings on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and see what they have in store for you as well. McRae, the time has come. It is time to present to you all the grading order for the new season here on P-Team Racing TV. Let's take a look at it. So right now, here is the lineup. This is your number one qualifiers from the original qualifying. The duels took place to determine the second row. George Young, though, was your fastest out of the field. He will be in the 48 with Brock Whitehead on his outside in the 31.
In the second row, you got your first duel winner, Brad Patton, in the number 1 starting third, and your second duel winner, number 9, Eli Childs, in the 4th position.
Row number 3 is going to be Christian Wilcox, and the 53 is outside. That'll be Caleb Forsythe in the 76.
You got Daniel Starner in the 14th in the 7th position. You got Richard Fornshell in the 8th position.
Row number 5 sees Craig Jantic, and that 40 is outside. That will be Willie Mann Jr. in the 29.
In the 11th position, you got James T. Harris in the 55, and to his outside, you got John Thacker in the number 56 in 12th position.
Row number 7 is going to be Brian Lorenzo in the 77. Steven Gibson will be piling it up in the number 60.
Row 8, you got the number 33, Troy Whitehead, in the 15th position, and the number 8, Sheldon Pearson, in the 16th position.
Row number 8 is going to be Robert Lawrence in the 34 is outside. Nathan Meyer in the number 24.
In row number 10, you got Stephen Pless in the 69 in the 19th position, and number 4, Matthew Johnson, in the 20th position.
Row number 11 will be Kyle Holden in the 5. This is outside. Tyler Meeks in the 35.
You got the number 15 car, Jason Taylor, in the 23rd position, and Kevin Ward to his outside in the 24th.
In row 13, Kevin Kershaw will be in the 91 with Boyd Hagen in the 83.
Starting 27th, you got Christopher M. Hill in the 99, and to his outside, you got Kyle Myers in the 28.
And the final start in all this, the 22, that is Steve Clegg. Race fans, the time has come. The time is here. These drivers are going to ship them on down off of turn number 4 this time by and send this one straight to the bank. The time is here. The place is now at Daytona Beach, Daytona International Speedway. We're about to bear witness the new season and the start with the green flag high in the air. Let the season commence.
Everybody's staying in their position right now. I mean, this first lap, I mean, we're probably not really going to see nothing right now. Just little patience. Hopefully no slip-ups, nobody getting loose.
I would suspect more than anything right now, drivers are just kind of tempoing themselves out, being very optimistic, very controlling of their environment, kind of watching every turn, every little angle they get up. They don't want to overdo things too quickly here. They've got to keep a very close depth eye on things and really watch and maneuver around this track. Remember, this is a 2.5 mile long track with a very major hiccups and headaches here they have to fight off against. So as we continue on with this race, one thing to really keep note of is really just the overall speed and control they will bring to the table, as well as one thing that we saw on the actual Daytona 500, which is the pushing and shoving just to get around one another. The strap package with the 550 horsepower package with the 4-inch spoiler still on the back of the rear wing, so that spoiler there actually making the biggest difference to keeping these cars a little less stable, a little bit more on the hard charging side. So getting too quick on the throttle and getting too quick on the gas can cost you a little bit here, but more than anything, I'd say it's the overall power that these cars in the rear end does to kick them out and kind of get them sideways here. That's going to cost every one of them a little bit of charging.
Yeah, some people think you just get out here on the racetrack and turn left and hold it wide open. You got to think, when I've raced here, you're not even half throttle. Sometimes it's full throttle. So, I mean, they're just going to have to be careful tonight.
Brock Whitehead already kind of backing down a little bit. His family member Thomas Whitehead has joined us in. Thomas, I haven't forgot about you, buddy. Saying get you on that 52 in the big screen. Let's go racing, boys. And actually, he's having the 31 this time around, my friend. But we got problems down now. Turn number 4. Trouble there for the 8 as Sheldon Pearson and the 4, Matthew Johnson. Both drivers colliding down off turn number 4. No caution, though. They keep it green. I don't know about that.
Tough break for Sheldon Pearson. I mean, I know he's got to go in the pits, and I mean, hopefully there'll be a caution soon so he can get caught back up. But it's going to be a tough ride for him just being by himself.
The PCM Racing TV instant replay shows us the tail, and let's take a look at it here. Pearson up on the bottom lane, looks like the number 4. Oh yeah, right there you can see actually the 4. That was Matthew Johnson. And the inexperience that struggles with these cars shows out right away. You saw him completely lose it down off the turn end there, and unfortunately Pearson got a good hit of it. We'll take one more look at it from the instant replay on the nose cam. And this is just what we're going to see all the time here. This is literally just without the speed and all that. It's literally driving an 87 without the control of having all the control up front. Your control is now in the back, so if you over throttle it just the right time or the wrong time and something slicks you up, you might as well just go find a place to hide.
Yeah.
Back to the live feed right now. The action's still kicking up here. Race fans, if you haven't already, share the stream on around. Get some love going for these boys. Hashtag Fast and Fun Racing in the comments section. Hashtag Cup Series. Hashtag PTM Racing TV down on the comments section. We do appreciate your support and hope you can keep giving it to us.
Yes. Speaking about comments, we got Jess Ruckerberg. Sorry if I messed that up. But it says good luck, Eli. We love you. So if you're listening in, I hope you heard it.
Well, as I call her, she is the one that is about the fiance of Eli Childs here, or as he was known as, the Potato Prince here. Well, tonight he's going to be trying to throw a few more potatoes on the track here and trying to make sure he keeps well ahead of the field, just like you would see from Eric Amarola, where he would get the watermelon out. Well, Childs, he gets the sack of potatoes out and throws it at drivers like they're just standing there for his own amusement to hit with. It's probably best I don't explain the joke there, bud.
Well, speaking about drivers, I mean, it seems the 500 Sunday, and you was talking about Eric Amarola. Wonder who's going to be the Ricky Stenhouse and gets out there and actually pushes.
It's really hard to say because, I mean, even when we saw Stenhouse, when he was pushing, he was kind of getting around the track. Even he admitted up front that it was kind of hard to keep a good line on, keep a good edge of control. So, I would say more than anything, I would try to watch myself as well as really the other drivers in front of me and making sure I'm not doing too much pushing, instead kind of giving them some breathing room. The only time I would even try to push, really try to push to shove, I'd say probably the last 10 laps at that.
Oh yeah, we're going to see a lot of action with 10 to go, maybe even 15. Like I said during the duels, after the last duel, expect the unexpected.
Yeah, it certainly is an unexpected world right now. Really, we do not know the full extent of these cars here. We've been trying to figure them out as we go along. I got back into one, and I can tell you right now, it's still a mystery to me. And you can even see just how much push some of these guys are getting. Watch that 99 here just completely mount the charge up and file right on around here. That is, of course, right now in the 99, Christopher M. Hill, teammates Boyd Hawken and Kevin Kirscher right in the field with him. I'm seeing a lot of moving around, a lot of bit of three wide slowing down here on the back straightaway right at the moment here with James Harris kind of pulling it right in the middle. I think the biggest thing I'm kind of getting a good idea and good glimpse of is those that want to fight and want to push on the track, they're going up top or they're going on the bottom. Those that want to stay out of this mess, they go to the middle.
I know they go into the middle, but you got to think you got a car on the outside of you, you got a car on the inside, and it only takes one slip up. So that middle is going to be tough.
Well, it's certainly going to be tough, but at least I can say it's a lot better than the Gen 6 races I've seen, it, unfortunately, since they updated that package deal. I remember when that package deal used to be a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to race. Nowadays, they completely changed up to where it's not as good as this one, obviously. But thankfully, these cars certainly can still put on a great show, put on a great battle here. Kevin Kershaw going to the back of the outhouse. Looks like he wants to try to work with some other drivers here. Doesn't have very many teammates, though, if you ask me. James Harris and Brian Lorenzo, though, teammates in their own right, looking to try to work with one another. So we'll see if that Cincinnati number 55 can start to mount up the charge here with the Oceanside cap. And it's 77 of Lorenzo. As the field starts to go into the tandem one-line draft here, the choo-choo Daytona draft train is in full bore, ladies and gentlemen.
I think with these cars lined up, I think it's time to crank it up a little bit, don't you say?
Well, maybe. I mean, if you really want me to push that crank it up, I just started in the beginning of this race here to crank it up, but since you want to crank it up a little more, let's crank it up. Uh-oh, Cox flag out real quick, though. We got a little bit of problems down here on the track, it looks like. I could not catch what happened down there. Did you catch anything there, McRae?
No, I'm trying to go back and see. I seen somebody spin, which I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't know if anybody had their speakers blaring. They didn't want to hear my voice come across that loud, so...
That depends on who you want to talk to. I mean, generally when I have to hear you, I hear you blasting through my speakers anyway. Now I know how Clint Boyer felt when he had to deal with old Tony Stewart down there. By the way, I wonder when we get Big Smoke on the broadcast here. That'd be amazing if we could talk with him. He was...
Yeah, him or, I mean, anybody really. But, I mean, I would like to see Smoke in the booth.
He definitely did his job, and I think we got to do our job right now here. So, right at the moment, we have no word, folks, on the caution here, where that came from, where it started. So we're going to call it what we like to know it as the ghost caution. It did not come out in time. It did not come out in an area where we could figure out what happened. So we're just going to leave it at that and leave it be and talk down with some drivers. So let's go ahead and bring in right now the number 5 here. This is Kyle Holden now on the line. Kyle, right out of the gate here, you had to start 21st, currently in the 21st spot. How's it feel in the back right now?
In the back, it's feeling a little slow here. We're just kind of waiting for things to happen. You know, hopefully we stay out of most of the cautions. Kind of glad that we're able to regroup here, and hopefully we'll see what we can do now.
So right now, with the way things are regrouping and everyone kind of getting squared away again, how difficult do you think it's going to be to really kind of pace yourself out in the later half of these runs and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to be patient, you know, make the smart moves, put yourself in the right positions that hopefully you're not going to get hit by anyone and just be there at the end. That's really all it comes down to, is just making sure you can get to the end.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, you got a lot on the mind, and probably best we let you go ahead and figure out that from there. So thank you for your time here, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Holden here as he heads down into pit road, going to get things taken care of here on the 3Y Motorsports side of things. While they go into pit road and get things squared away, you got something to say there real quick, McRae?
Yeah, I finally found out what the caution was. It was 18 of Kyle Myers coming out of 4. He just got loose by himself like they was doing in the duels and just spun it out and took it to the wall.
You said Myers there?
Yeah. in the number 18.
Okay, before we go to a quick commercial break here, let's take a look at the replay because you know one thing, folks, we want to make sure we can see what happened there exactly. So we're going to take a neat peek at this one here. See if we can get a good look at this here. Unfortunately, I think it might have happened a little later
It was
on.
coming out of 4.
Yep. We've got the instant replay. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Well, good eye there, McRae. I would not have known this.
Yeah, I seen one car and I didn't know who it was, so I went about halfway through the field and I rewinded it because I knew it was coming out of 4, and then I seen it. So
yeah, it definitely was coming out of turn 4, and yeah, like you said, in the duels, we had a lot of drivers get loose and get out of shape in that exact same turn. It happened again. Now, is that going to keep happening, though, remains to be unknown, but if it's happening with 2 drivers we've seen already, I mean, I feel as though we're already kind of witnessing something here, which is just an overall difference in a driving style and control. We'll see how much that favors the rest of the field right now, as we are currently going to be under caution for a second. We'll be right back after this quick commercial message. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by the good friends over at Champion Power Equipment. You guys need the right tools and power generators for the job. There has only been one brand and name that all have trusted in and all have relied on since the beginning of time itself, when they have come to be, and that is Champion Power Equipment. So be sure to check them out on their website at www.championpowerequipment.com, and also check out their local listings on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and check to see what they've got in store for you and your next projects. Alright, so looks like we're going to get double filed up here. Pace car's lights are turned off, which means one thing, McRae, you know what that is.
it's time to go green.
Oh, it's time to go green. It's time to go back racing here on the show. Field will get squared away right now as I currently deal with the advent of being here in Daytona. I'm currently trying to get used to the warm weather. I'm not used to it here, considering I'm an Iowa boy, but then again, I always loved it when it was nice and warm around here.
Yeah, I'm ready for the warm weather. Here in Tennessee, you get warm weather one day and it'd be freezing the next day with 25-degree weather. So it's got its mood swings. So hopefully with spring coming, it'll stay warm. So
Now, you say mood swings. I don't want to hear nothing about that when considering I'm here in Iowa. We got most bipolar weather you can get for a Midwestern state. So, I mean, if you want to go that route, my friend, you can come find that one.
might have to do that one day.
Alright. Well, if you want to do it one day, be my guest. But right now, we are about to get squared away here. Well, it looks like turn 4 is going to be where most of the trouble is going to be for some of these drivers today. Which, not surprising, that is kind of a little bit of a tougher spot to kind of hit up from. Because you're going from a curved end to literally straightened out on the banking side, just like you would on the backstretch. We'll see if that continues to falter and give them some headaches here, though, as the green flag comes right back on out. A little bit of a delay on our end from the lights perspective here. Do not worry, that does not mean anything. We got this thing still working the way it should. We may have a little reload here for a second here, folks. Alright, coming down that back straight right now, and Nathan Meyer in the number 24 Exalta Chevrolet, he's going to go putting it back down the back sets here. It looks like he wants to kind of stay away from some drivers here, but also work with some teammates here and some advents to these guys. He's got Craig Janzik now working his way on in with him, trying to help him, as well as Brock Whitehead. And McRae, right now, I know you're kind of watching in the background here, in the back of the end here. I know there's some movement here, watching my timing sheet and all that. Who do we got kind of moving the charge, and who's kind of being a hard charger with these guys here?
You got Christopher M. Hill. He started 27th and he's up to the 14th. So, and then you got Boyd Hogan, who started 26th and the 15th. So, and Tyler Meeks, he started 22nd and now he's in the 11th. So, yeah, 11th. So, I mean, we got some big movers here. So, I guess some of them's trying to come to the front and just stay there and then work their way further up. Or, I mean, who knows?
Who knows indeed. There's certainly a lot of drivers looking to try to outplay and outsmart the rest of the field, though. Currently looking at the back here, Stephen Gibson in a double low. Certainly a guy you got to keep your eye on here. He's not exactly one that doesn't try to exuberate and really make himself look pretty good out there. He'll always put on a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a show here. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to get a little bit into that comfort zone, get into that controlled state, and then work his way right back on around. So, but still though, the Oval Sim Performance guys right now are the ones to watch out for as they continue to try to find some run and find some dragging up there. Double filing up here, McRae, and this is the one part that I always say is kind of the scariest thing about being in a plate track race, and especially with a car that is now known to be a bit of a tire clencher and tire hard run-off. I'd say more than anything, this is going to be kind of a handful for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming up on lap 20, quarter of the race. I mean, I know we had one caution. There'll probably be plenty more, which we hope not, because we want to see a good, clean race. I mean, you never know.
You never know, indeed, here as they continue to drive on by, keep this momentum alive here. And still, it seems like more than anything, I'm seeing Childs kind of just hanging up in the front, just kind of watching everybody behind him. I know his spotter is really just telling him everyone that's coming up to him or coming right around to it. But I'd say he's kind of being a little bit more patient, a little bit more under control, knowing that with these guys, obviously, they're going to be doing what they can to pass him in a clean, orderly fashion. But I mean, at the same time, we're looking at the lap counter, guys. We're only 1/4 the way in this so far, and there's just not a lot of area to really scratch up or really take away from.
No, we still got 60 laps to go. There's still a lot of time left. I mean, a 2.5 mile track. I mean, there's still time.
They're trying, they're pushing, they're shoving, they're doing what they can. Right now, though, Nathan Meyer is going to take over the spot and take over the limelight here. He is going to be the new leader.
Yeah, when that outside line took up, maybe the high line is picking up now. I mean, I know in real life racing, that top line was sticking out there, that bottom line. So hopefully the top line works out so we can see some more racing and more passes.
I think if anything, they're going to be kind of getting a little bit more grippy, a little bit more speedy up on top end, like you said. And then when the bottom end starts to come back around, then they're going to really try to charge that up there. So, nevertheless, though, right now, everything seems to be A-okay, drivers.
I know some people think it's calm, cool, collective, but it's nerve-wracking. I mean, this puts the drivers on the edge of their seat, and they're steady concentrating, and they're probably not even blinking at the screen because I mean, anything could happen.
I mean, the biggest thing, I mean, really to me, in my opinion, would be just overall, like, looking at every angle, looking at every spot. I would be very, very careful about where I'm making my move and where I'm making my charge from, because there's just a lot of drivers that want to kind of push to shove and take time to aim at here as we go on board here with Boyd Hagen, that Champion Power Cup number 83. And, you know, there's one thing really to kind of known for these drivers is a lot of them do try to be the fastest and the best at these kind of races and these kind of moments, but I mean, when you're in a spot where really being the fastest doesn't necessarily work out in your favor, I mean, at this point, then it just boils down to just kind of timing more than anything, I would presume, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And speaking of timing, I mean, I know we just had a caution with 18 sitting out, and you look up front now, I mean, it didn't take many laps to get up there, and he's already leading the race right now.
Yeah, he's already pushing and shoving. He's getting quite a bit of a run down there, making quite a bit of moves and quite a bit of junctions. And we got a big wreck, though, right ensuing down on the back half here. We've got a problem down here, boys. Brad Patton with some problems down there, unfortunately, in the number one, with the dual winner of winner number one, unfortunately, finds himself in a bit of a cluster and a little bit of a problematic zone. We'll have to go to the PT Minster replay and see what exactly transpired here, but it looks like there was a lot of pushing and shoving to get him up into that top half with those guys. Yeah, right here, coming off turn number 2 here, McRae, the 14. got a big push, big line. He's trying to get the one, but he just barely clips that right side, and instead of helping him, he just makes it a lot worse for Ware.
Yeah, it only takes the slightest move and the slightest hiccup, and it can turn into a real bad timing. And I mean, like we seen right there, it don't take much.
Dan Starner gave it everything he had here, but this is unfortunate that you kind of go from hero to zero, unfortunately. But again, with that draft line, you can't give up too much of that bubble and expect to come back right away. And that's exactly what happened there. Just a little bit of too much of a tag and a drag, and the 14 ends up catching one of them out and gets them all squared out and send them to the shadow round.
Do you think we'll see pit stops this caution? I see a couple of them coming in.
I would not be surprised if we've seen quite a few go into pit road, as Boyd Hoggins says, to heck with this. I'm not going to pit road. You guys have your own way there. I'm staying out. Kyle Myers right now with Blackstone Management Racing will stay on out, as well as Christopher M. Hill and Boyd Hoggin. And I'm not really surprised there that those three stayed out. Whenever you see any of the Blackstone Management guys staying out, that usually means they've got a plan working in order.
Yeah, with the 3-set tire limit with this race, I mean, I know we've seen a couple of wrecks and people coming in and switching tires. I mean, you got to be careful with that too.
You certainly do indeed. So right now we're going to go ahead and send it on down, talk with some of our drivers here. Let's go ahead and bring in the #1 qualifier here today, and that is George Young here. George, when we last saw you, you were the fastest of them all, and you managed to come away with the top honors. Now, though, you're racing out here with these guys and trying to, get a little bit more of a grip, a little more of a handle on this track. How tough is it right now for you to kind of take these guys down a few notches?
So far, it's been pretty tame. We're working together with our teammates here, trying to come up with some strategy. So, I mean, you know how it goes here. It's going to stay calm for a while, but then it's going to get pretty hectic in a little while. I can guarantee you that.
For sure there. So let's ask this real quick here. Your thoughts on this next gen versus what you had, the Gen 6s, because really when you were running the Gen 6s, it seems like you guys were fighting the car a lot more often than not on these plate tracks, whereas the other tracks, it was matter of just who can handle the speed and the momentum.
Yeah, I mean, these cars, for the setup we're using tonight, it's pretty stable so far. It does get a little bit loose coming off those turns. You got to really be careful when you're pushing and getting pushed, but yeah, so far so good. It's handling pretty well here.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, George, we do appreciate your time today. Best wishes and luck as you continue with this race.
Thank you, sir.
From the MPR crew, George Young, ladies and gentlemen, the number 48.
Thomas Whitehead said in the comments, talk to Brock or Trey Whitehead.
I'm pretty sure he wants to hear from some family members. He wants to hear from the crew, so we'll go ahead and give the nod to Brock Whitehead now. He is on the line and on the list here. Brock, how you doing, bud?
Doing good. How about you?
Pretty good, sir. Well, as you can kind of guess, Thomas wanted you to come on into the show, so we're going to let you listen in. Right now, currently, you started back in second. You were the second fastest from the initial qualifying session. How difficult, though, is it for you to know that you're having to take on these guys in a really a bit of a tougher spot now?
Yeah, we got some really fast guys behind us, like Craig and Boyd and all them, so we're going to try our best and probably get organized here. And like we just did before that caution came out, how we got all of our team up on the outside line and made it work. And hopefully we can drive our way back up to the front, save some fuel, and only have to pit about two, maybe 3 more times. Depends on when the caution comes out next time.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Brock, there's still a lot at stake and a lot going on. Do you think you have what it takes?
Oh yeah, the super speedway racing is very fun. I like it a lot, and I'm going to try my best to get out there and get it.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, best of luck, and we'll see if you can pull this one off.
Thank you.
Brock Whitehead, ladies and gentlemen, the number 31 driver, looking to try and get his second win ever, his first in the Next Gen Cup car, much less the Fast Fun Cup Series. McRae, I will let you have the reins this time, sir. You may call them as you please.
All right, we got Kyle Mears coming to the restart and green flag racing. Let's go back racing, boys.
Back to the racing indeed. We're off and running. Let's get them on down.
that top line come back in, which I see them coming a little bit. So
Yeah, I think right now they're definitely getting a little bit more inconsistent, a little bit more under control here. And Kyle Mears seems to be kind of well aware of that. He's got the Blackstone Managed Racing team falling right behind him. They charge up the outside. He wants everyone to come with it.
yeah, we've seen everybody go to the top side. I mean, we see a couple of them in the back going down to the bottom, but who's going to be the brave one in this, let's say, top 10 right now is going to drop down to the bottom and maybe get a run.
Get a run, we got a little bit of speed here. Myers, though, man, I mean, one things really understand tonight, guys, this guy was starting at 28th tonight. He's up in the race lead right now. I mean, if he can somehow, some way find a way to hold this thing down online and hold it out for the rest of the race, I think he may be a competitor here that you got to watch out for in this season.
James D. Harris in the 55 car, he moved down to the bottom and he's trying to get a line going down there, so maybe he can be up there at front and be one of the contenders.
He's trying to get something going. A lot of guys, when they go to the bottom, they'll try to force drivers to go up top with them or go around with it, but it looks like everyone has the same idea. Don't let Blackstone Management Racing Team get the better of them. And look, as they come off of turn number 2, you can still see the BSM crew is not giving the lineup just yet. So even with that kind of pack and that tandem pack they got, the bottom lane is still not able to actually hold on and get a run off. So this is a big telling here.
Yeah, I mean, you would think with more cars on the bottom and more people pushing, you would think they're faster. But with that 3 cars up there on top, they're doing some business by themselves.
They're doing some business all right. They're doing everything they can to give themselves a fair shake and a first shot at this. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing though, really just, it seems like if you can get a good push and a good run, it doesn't seem like it matters where the heck you're at. It's just all a matter of how far can you go from there and how far will you go if it means trying to win a race. And we saw just a minute ago with Starner, just a little bit too much of a push or bump and all that. Next thing you know, it is completely destroyed and nullified. It's hard out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard on them. I mean, I know they just had the caution and got some fresh tires, and I mean, you see a lot of up and down movement, so hopefully the turn 4 don't get them like we've been seeing with this race and one of the cautions from the last duel. I mean, it's a lot of movement, so they're going to have to be careful.
They got to be very careful, very well aware and keen on their positions and their runs. Let's go on board here with Stephen Pless. And, you know, we talked earlier and made a joke about how hot it is down here in Daytona, but there is a reason why you and me said that, McRae, and that is that temperature that comes from the sun here on this Daytona Beach sky, that actually does affect the track, and in turn, when the tires get kind of warmed up, get a little bit of heat into them, that actually burns them off more and actually shreds the rubber down. That's why you always got to be kind of careful around here, especially when they wreck right in front of you here. The 24 slammed out, turn number 4, problems.
Man, oh man.
Holy smokes, we had a whole lot of a pile up down off turn 4. Everybody getting sent out of here in trouble. What on earth happened? From my end, when we were on board with Plus, it looked like the Exalta Chevrolet of Meyer got loose and kind of got coincided and collected in with some of the drivers. I could not tell, though, perfectly from that angle. So let's take a look at the P10 instant replay. And here's where trouble starts. Janzik decides to say, forget the BSM crew and go to the bottom. He decides to take it down there. The 96, though, you see Hill, he was trying to actually watch their run, watch their momentum. Hagen was doing the same, and they ended up just getting kind of right past it. But Meyer actually got a bit of Meyer there, and the only guy that did not get taken out was, well, Myers. Yeah, in the number 30, in that number 18, by the way, just for the record. So I mean, right there, let's take another look at it here from the chopper cam here, a little drone cam we got going on, but you can see right here, watch that 34. Watch as he comes right off the edge. You can see he is pushing. Robert Lawrence is right in the mix, but in this case here, Meyer actually got loose on his own because he was kind of swerving around a little too much. And remember what we said earlier about the steering issues and the steering problems these drivers face. You cannot go swerving around like that and think that car is going to hold on line. The way the steering setup is, the way everything is kind of planned out down there, it's a very tough little steering pinion you have to be very careful and gentle with. Otherwise, it's pretty much straight shots you, and the next thing you know, you're wishing you had a place to hide at. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know one of the drivers that we interviewed earlier, he said if you was in the top 5, you'd probably be safe and wouldn't cause a caution, but you got to think that was 3rd, 4th place wreck right there and took out about the whole field except the 1st place guy.
Certainly indeed, and that is going to be something I think these drivers now are going to kind of calm down a little bit on, slow down. Remember what happened when we saw 21 in real life, actually. Harrison Burton go flipping upside down when everyone thought they were getting a little comfortable and they could push around a little bit. Everything changed up, and now I feel the same has been done here. So we'll go ahead now and take it down to the drivers. We're going to head to 3Y Motorsports here in the 77. Brian Lorenzo, I believe, was one of the only drivers that managed to actually escape the carnage there. Lorenzo, do you have a copy, sir?
Yeah, man. What's up?
Right, man. Right now, a new season, a new start, as we mentioned before here. You're coming off the clutches of a top 4 finishes is back at Auto Club last season. Now coming down here to Daytona, and the madness certainly has recreated and restarted, hasn't it, here?
Yeah, man, it's a new era. It's already been tough as these cars are very tough to drive so far.
They're tough to drive, tough to master and handle, but really, I'm going to ask you this real quick, sir. How the heck are you able to keep this thing online and stay out of trouble, considering really everybody has been all over the place, or if not, really spinning right out just off the turns on their own?
It's just really setup based. Everybody's on different setups, and again, when you got such a huge run out the corner, you're full throttle, causing wheel spin. You're about to spin out the corner. I just got caught in the wreck. Like I couldn't go anywhere, and that was the big one that just happened. So it's just all luck, to be honest.
It certainly is indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, as you get ready to get back to this one here, we'll let you take your time and get squared away. Thank you for your time here, Lorenzo.
Thank you, man.
3Y Motorsports is, ladies and gentlemen, number 77, Brian Lorenzo on the call and on the line. As we get driver squared away again, we'll be right back after this quick commercial message. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, is brought to you in part by our good friends over at Champion Power Equipment. You guys need the right tools for the right job. There's only a brand and name that we've trusted in, and that is with the Champion Power Equipment crew. Be sure to check them out on their local website at www.championpowerequipment.com, as well as their social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And for the record, folks, yes, I am very well aware that we're having some technical difficulties on our end here with the overlay system. Not really sure where the troubles are coming from or where all that began at, but we do know it is kind of affecting on our broadcast end, so be aware that we may have to resort to going and grabbing them all back here as we go along for the ride here, bringing them back to the green flag, though. We are back underway. Ray, I'll let you kind of call this one up for a minute while I go ahead and get everything squared back up on my end here.
Everybody's smooth, calm, and collective right now. Not many people moving around just yet. I mean, with 5 more laps, we're going to be a little bit under halfway. I mean, we might start seeing changes here and there, a lot of moves and stuff, but they're still, halfway through the race just about. I mean, there's still a lot of more things to figure out and get over to try to win the race. I mean, we ain't really picked a driver to win the race, but one of my choices is Eli Childs in the 9 or your leader right now, Chris Jancic in the 40.
Keeping his momentum, keeping his distance right now through the field and through the pacing here as we watch this race kind of play down around the track. Race fans, we may have to pop up something here for a minute because we are having some troubles down here on my end. I have no idea what is going on right now with the overlay system. We've had this happen before, and right now I can tell you I'm not too thrilled with them for messing things up as usual. So we may have to switch to the old sim racing app. So be well aware that we're not trying to do this to make things any harder, any crazier down here. We're just trying to get things squared up and fixed up on our end. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to run the old the overseas here, my friend. It looks like we're having way too many problems down here, unfortunately. So I hate to be bearer of bad news, guys, but we're just gonna have to go with what we got here. I'm sorry to say that. If anything, I'll go back here and we'll probably take care of the stream here later on. Maybe re-record some things we have to, but don't worry, McGray, you don't have to join me for that. I just gotta get this thing up and running here. There we go. We got it fixed finally.
Hey, mixing up the old school with the new school cars, new school racing. I mean, there we go.
Yeah, sometimes it works out that way, and sometimes it goes that route.
Speaking of that route, Eli Childs in the 9's made his way through.
He's definitely making quite a few routes, quite a bit of positions here right now. Still holding down the fort, holding down the lines right at the moment here. Drivers continuing to kind of pace their way on and on the track here. Kind of expect here to see some more battles going forth, kind of seeing some more runs off from these guys.
I know you talked about it earlier, and we ain't really seen much of it, but who's gonna go to the middle and get that side-by-side draft and get that draft advantage?
I would say right now, kind of looking at it from this angle here, with only the two packs here kind of running around the track, kind of pulsing their momentum, I'd say really any of the NPR guys are certainly a great contender, and I'd say more than anything, they may be the guys to really watch out for here.
Looking at that number 76 to Forsyth with his fire department coffee, I might have to drink me some coffee after this race.
I think I mean more than just a few coffees after this one. I think we might need to get down to the bar down here in Daytona. Isn't there a little track that says like turn 2 or whatever, the turn 2 bar?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Something like that anyway.
Hey, we can head to the bar and bring the coffee with us and tell them to pour a shot in the coffee.
Works out in the end now, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, like I said right now, guys, we're having a lot of technical difficulties on our end here. You may see some screens popping up in and out again, as unfortunately as it is. Alright, so it looks like we got the timing down, at least for the most part, but we're just not going to be able to really show anything here. I'm still not really sure what happened exactly. I just know that we are currently dealing with a few malfunctions on our end here.
Yeah, talking about paint schemes, the number 15 of Jason Taylor, he's got a sharp little ride. Kind of reminds me of the old '88 Dale Jarrett car.
Yeah, right now, I mean, which car did you say was looked like Dale Jarrett? I'm sorry, but I'm just currently right now
You're
working a lot of stuff on my end.
Oh, you're fine. It's the 15 of Jason Taylor. It's kind of like a throwback, but with a new touch to it.
Yeah, it does kind of have a little bit of that Dale Jarrett scheme to it. If you kind of threw some UPS on there, I think we might be on something here, McRae.
Yeah, I know he run the quality care too.
Certainly indeed, and looks like right now lap traffic is going to be a bit of a factor here, a bit of a troublesome for these guys here. So feel kind of moving their way around, getting out of the way on the top side. 14 there of Dan Starner will get out of the way for the opposing guys right here as number 4 as well of Matthew Johnson gets in clear and end position here. The drivers are moving the chains on in.
Looking down the list of drivers, we have Brad Patton. I know he was one of the winners of the duels, and he's currently in 18th right now. A little less than 2 seconds, so hopefully he get back up there up front.
He's not far off right now, really. He's keeping himself in a nice evenly position, kind of even state here. So if anything, might be able to kind of catch these guys back up, might be able to work something way around the track as they start to bolster the momentum up and get a little bit closer to the ends and the runs here. I would say more than anything, they are just going to be keeping their distance, keeping themselves under control and in pace. Looks like Myers too right now, McRae. Looks like it seems like he's kind of getting a little bit of a charge up on that top side, giving himself a little bit of momentum here. I don't know if maybe that is him just kind of working more towards closely with Boyd Hagen, or if he maybe is seeing the overarching story here, which is he's going to have to sooner or later start really making a charge, making a run with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, we got about 34 laps to go, 33 coming to the line. If they're going to start making moves to get their team or their pack up to the front, now's the time to do it. I wouldn't be making big moves, but I would start working towards the front.
Don't want to make too big of a move, don't want to make too crazy of a move, but at the same time, you got to start kind of taking some risk here. If it means kind of bolstering your chances and bolstering your runs off, especially with only about 34 laps remaining. I mean, the thing that really just impressed me right now is that, like I just said a little while ago, we talked about literally the drivers getting a little aggressive, getting a little bit more on the off restraint side. Now, it seems like they are actually kind of being a little more restraintive and a little more under control. They're at ease and at peace with themselves and keeping a close eye on that. So right now, at the moment, things starting to get a little bit more under control, a little bit more on the wrap, on the edges here. The Carrillo number 35 Ford Mustang starting to get a little bit more in talks and more in trying to make some moves here with these guys. Currently, he's got the 90 Richard Fornshell right up ahead of him. Meeks last night proved one thing was for sure. He was out to make a statement and make a showcase of himself. Unfortunately, though, he found himself on kind of the receiving end a few times and kind of get himself caught up in the middle of some bad moments and some bad graces.
Yeah, we're starting to see. I've seen the 35 of Tyler Meeks. I've seen him get a little bit loose, but I mean they got to be careful too. I mean there's still 30 laps to go, and I see cars getting a little bit loose going side to side. So hopefully they can handle the car and keep it held straight and have no wrecks. So they got to be careful with that.
Very careful indeed. You don't want to do these things anymore than you already have to, or really destroy anything up any more than you need to. You just kind of keep yourself under control, keep yourself in balance and in pace. Man, Boyd Hagen right now, that 96, usually he's driving the 83, but the 96 car tonight, he's getting a lot of help from the 18 there of his teammate, Kyle Myers, who Myers earlier was one of the only drivers who was able to avoid and sway off from the guys in the pack and the guys in the fight right now. It looks like he might be able to kind of keep himself in charge and in line for possibly more than just a little bit of a race win, but also to make another statement to prove that this BSM team is here for the long haul and the season ahead.
Yeah, that top line's working out again, so the bottom line, they better watch out, because if they get that top line going, that's going to be the spot to be at, I think.
It'll definitely be the line to be towards and the line to go with. But it seems like now the drivers are getting kind of a little bit more anxious to get towards that bottom lane. Myers seems to be pushing pretty hard on Hagen and trying to get the rest of the guys to go with him. Gibson now even kind of coming up right behind Myers. So it looks like Gibson, usually running with the Rusty Motorsports crew, is actually starting to be a little bit more of a shoe-in, a little bit of a fight out here.
Now, with that high line working the way it is, do you stay up there, or do you go ahead and go to the bottom to hold back the bottom line?
I mean, if I was them right now, I would be a little bit more conservative. Oh, hold on a minute, hold on, a little trouble down there. We got one spun on around.
Yeah, George Young in the 48.
Well, he spun it around, but he didn't seem to be fazed by it. Look at him just bring that thing right back from the back straightaway and back with the drivers.
Yeah, he was just spun by himself.
How often can you tell that or even see that stuff on this kind of track here? Well, we may be having timing with the live timing. That doesn't mean we have trouble with the actual feed. So let's take a look at the PTM instant replay. Here's another look at it. Watch this right here. That 48, man, he just went really hard in the throttle, got loose. But look at him just save that thing. He just kept it right in the throttle. He never really lifted. And once he straightened her back out and got it back up to the back straightaway, it was kind of smooth sailing from there.
That might be the save of the day right there.
Well, it is our save right now of the day, but how many times can he do that? That remains to be unknown.
Which I know he was getting a little bit loose, or got loose right there. Let's just hope he can get it back together and maybe hopefully don't do it again, because if it's loose then and then you try to save it and you're sitting there sliding trying to get it back straight, that'll wear the tires out even more. So hopefully you can get it straightened out and get back on up there.
Hopefully so indeed here, but again, there's a lot going on. There's a lot at stake, so really a lot of these drivers won't be paying too close attention to really caring too much about it here. I think if anything, they'll be more on the long lines of firing off what they can and just getting and pushing and shoving whoever they feel like will actually hold their line down. So at this moment here, I would say some of those guys, it would be more along the lines of like the Pattons, your Childs, the Fornshells, and them, because they know, as well as anything from the other drivers, how they like to handle and how they will work with.
Yeah, I just seen Caleb Forsyth in 76. He got a little bit loose, but he didn't get as loose as. the other one did.
Certainly indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, right now, folks, currently, we're going to keep this one going, keep this crazy train on the road. When we come back here on Pizza Race TV, there is still more action to be had, more to be seen. We'll be right back after this quick commercial message. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Champion Power Equipment. Need the right tools for the right job. There's only one brand name to trust in and get with, and that is, of course, Champion Power Equipment. Be sure to check out their power generators. They're all their equipment needs and tools that for your line of service at www.championpowerequipment.com, as well as their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram handles to see what they got in store for you. Thank you again to Champion Power Equipment for everything you've done for this season. Back to the live feed right now, and it looks like some drivers are starting to square off, starting to kind of face off from the rest of the field. One thing to know right now here, Mr. Gray, is we've got a little bit of a family feud going on as the Whiteheads have taken over the top 10, 11, and 10th right now. So right now there's two packs going on with Meeks kind of leading the first half. The other half is led by Boyd Ogden, and they're all trying to get a bit of a jump, a little bit of a gap zone on them, trying to catch him here. I don't know necessarily they're going to be having time to catch him, really have time to get a move on them, but they certainly seem not to be worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, Trey Whitehead and Brock Whitehead, like you said a little bit ago, hopefully they can get together and team up and maybe hopefully have a chance to win this thing.
Certainly indeed, but I mean at the same time, I will say with Meeks and Meyer there, they will definitely have no trouble kind of getting a bit of a push and shoving contest going to get each other up closer to that upper half, that upper echelon here. I don't think it's going to be a problem then. Problem though is once you catch Boyd Hagen and them, like how are you going to be able to pass them on by when you know they're going to try and block here, trying to run you down from the field here. Even Eli Childs here, he's kind of playing both sides here. He's kind of getting the top and the middle here, and he's actually working more towards, I would say, the favorable end of working with the top guys. So
yeah, we see the top getting faster and faster. Hopefully that bottom line comes in. I know you said he might throw the block on them or try to, which, I mean, I like good tight racing and stuff like that, but with 32 to go, 31 to go, I mean, he might back off and just let them on by, and then hopefully that top line will pick back up.
well, that bottom line is going to go right to the charge, right on center and on point now. With only 21 laps left to go. Things are going to get kind of crazy here.
35 of Tyler Meeks, he's got a good run. He's getting pushed by Nathan Meyer, so that bottom line's coming back in.
Bottom line's coming back in. Everything's starting to kind of shape up and take aim here. I don't know how much more, though, they'll be able to really continue to really pace in and really fight off with, especially knowing what they've got going on down there. The number one of Brad Patton, though, is coming right into the mix here, kind of right down there. Childs and the gang are going to go into pit road. So Pearson, Harris, Fornshell, Forsythe, and Clegg will all enter in there with the top 10 still staying on out. And one guy that definitely knows a thing or two about winning around here, may I introduce to you, Christian Wilcox, at 53. This is where he got his very first win ever here on Pizza Racing TV at McRae, and it was done in the Truck Series, yes, but as we kind of alluded to and kind of figured out already, that still is a quite charged full angle, quite charged shot off, if you will, when you get it down and around town and get some speed going.
Yeah, with his first win in the Truck Series, I know I didn't get to call last season, but I mean, with the win or whatever, I mean, that's motivation to come up to the Cup Series with the new cars and stuff. I mean, that's motivation to hopefully win this race too and have the Daytona 500 up under his belt.
Certainly indeed. Now pit road's now entering in. Everyone going down in and around town here while Brad Batten and Stephen Gibson decide to play kind of the oddballs one of this field.
A lot of tire slide. I hope nobody didn't get a black flag on that for speeding.
Hard to say. Very hard to say right now. And looks like they're going to go in again. They're going to try not to get into trouble here. Gibson, Patton enter into pit road as you see right on your screen, as well as what they're doing here. And the rest of the field that was kind of walking towards the fine line of fuel run and all that. William Mann Jr., George Young, Robert Lawrence, and looks like, let's say the 34, Robert Lawrence and all of them are currently in that little draft zone, their own little area, their own little bubble, if you will. So it looks like they may be coming up with something kind of creative and unique here.
Yeah, when I was watching the 500 Sunday, I mean, with the one lug nut on these cars, I mean, you know, some of them might take tires, some of them might just take gas for right now. But the time difference between taking 2 tires and 4 tires on this track, I mean, it can make a difference of who gets back out front.
It does indeed here, and at this moment here, a lot of these guys are being very well aware, very cautious about what's going on. And it looks like William Mann Jr. kind of maybe getting a little too much of that bumper, a little too much of that corner end off, actually starting to slow him down, so everyone's kind of holding back the field a bit.
Yeah, Billy Mann Jr., the man with the plan, which, I mean, it's still early. He backs off a little bit and goes back to the end. Maybe he's a better pusher than being up front with the pack.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Billy Mann Jr. has been known to really kind of shape up these guys a few and little kind of make them around town. They go. Looks like the 112, Kevin Ward, problems down there. And Deja Vu, the same place Harrison Burton in his 21 that got stuck in last time. He gets sent back to the shallow realm, unfortunately, and that's going to cost him dearly. Right now, positions-wise, here, George Young, Robert Lawrence, William Mann Jr., they've got to be very, very careful about what's coming up behind them. Only 6 seconds back ahead of Hagen, Myers, Meeks, Childs, Forsythe, Harris, and Gibson in the top 10. And their last pit road entries, man, they didn't really go into it that long ago. They better be careful about this here.
Yeah, I mean, you got a 3-car up here in the lead, first, second, and third, and then you go on back 6 seconds, 8 seconds back, you got a group of them coming. Maybe with that bigger group, they can get more of a push and maybe catch up with them.
They could very much so indeed, but right now anyway, they have got to find just the fine line, the fine rhythm to keep up distance, keep up controls here, because they're getting closer and closer to the very, very end of this race, and I think they're very, very well aware of that.
Yeah, with 15 to go, I mean, now's the time to be doing something, coming up with a plan, or if they already have a plan, they need to be doing it.
They need to be engaged and getting a little bit more aggressive about it. Not to the point where they kind of, get the shovel and the plow out, but I mean, the point where it actually does, kind of work out in their favor.
Yeah, if they got any tricks up their sleeve, now's the time to do it.
Absolutely indeed. Currently marching to the band, marching to the tune here. At the moment, it looks like Childs got a lot of help there from Caleb Forsythe. By the way, Forsythe last night was in a heated battle there to try to get into the Final Four here for the Truck Series coming up next week at Vegas. But today here at Champion Power Equipment spot, they have been pretty much on the underdog story of the NPR crew, trying to get up there with this field, trying to get a big move on. And one of them that is still searching for that first win in the NPR crew is George E. Young in that 48. He right now, really, in my opinion, by far the most impressive driver of this season, of this series so far, because of his fast qualifying time. He laid down back into the duels section, and then also now what he's doing with Robert Lawrence and William Mann Jr., if he can use that fuel run and really strengthen his number out, to be honest with you, I feel George is going to be the guy you got to watch out for this season if he's going to play the game like this.
Yeah, we still got a long season ahead of us. You never know what's going to happen at the end of the season when they go into the playoffs. So, there's still a long season. I know this race would be the jump start of the season, but it's going to be a long season.
It's going to be a very long season indeed. And of course, we have week on, week off races this season. So be very well aware of that, folks. Next week we'll have the off week. But then we'll be back on March 8th at Vegas, then March 22nd at Atlanta, and then April 5th we'll go to Richmond Raceway here. That'll all be when things start to really shape up and strengthen. And I promise you guys as well, I will be constantly yelling, making sure that we get that overlay system fixed up and make sure it's properly done. I believe when I'm getting word from the producers and managers that run that is that there was a problem with the updating the feeding in, so I can't do anything about transponders and how the cars work as well as everything else here, so I do deeply, deeply apologize to those out there that were expecting a little bit more of a personal overlay system. But like I said, when things break, we gotta go with what we started with.
Yeah, that second pack back there, they're gaining a little bit, which they're gaining some now a little bit, but not as much with 12 to go, I think it is. They better start charging.
It's 12 right now. It'll be 11 in a minute, but I don't think the guys that were wanting to charge are the same drivers that you said that need to start charging, because right now Brad Patton is deciding, well, if I can't get the top spot, I might as well try to mess around with this one. Coming through the field a little bit here, Patton has moved in ahead of Eli Childs. Childs trying to hold him down on the line, though. And apparently, I don't know what the heck just happened, but I think everything is all of a sudden working now.
Maybe it's just having a bad day.
I think I'm about ready to give it a bad day for all the grief it's been giving me today. Well, it seems to be working, so we're going to go with it. Yeah, it looks like it's all working again on my end here, so I don't know. Maybe it just all of a sudden decided it wanted to work when it felt like it. I don't know anymore. Well, there we go, race fans.
Yeah. You think we'll see a caution before the end of this race?
If we don't get a caution by the end of this race, honestly, I'd be kind of surprised, because there's some aggressive drivers out here still trying to push and shove around here. And Young, in my opinion, no offense to him, but he is a prime target, a prime suspect on one of the guys that, if I swear, if these guys had to pull it to the line, they'll push everything they got at him. Now that we can finally take a look at the pit strategies here, let's take a look at this here. And, you know, looking at this at the moment, this is definitely not the pit length sync that I think it's supposed to be, so I'm already going to say that our feed is still not quite bright, but at least the streams are working okay now. Coming right around, though, we are down to only 9 laps left to go here on the Champion Power Cup Series side of things. Lawrence is a proven winner. William Mann Jr., he can get the job done and put on a fight to the very end of this, but right at the moment, he's only so far ahead of the guys that are looking to try to take aim and take claim. And here's one of them that's going for him, Boyd Hagen, in that pack with the race lead. He's trying to get up there with him, trying to get one last chance at it. And you can see the gap difference is getting kind of stretched in, only about a tenth a second. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, that's not enough to get around to these guys up front. So now they're having to hope for the best that the fuel goes out too quickly with them. That's what's kind of hard to tell, because again, we had so much technical difficulties going on. I could not for sure really tell where everyone went into pit road and when everyone was getting squared away there.
Yeah, the Rents in the 34. Oh, he gets loose.
No, they're going into pit road. They're not getting
Oh,
loose.
they're going to pit road. Oh, I called it wrong then. My bad. I thought he maybe got loose.
No, well, I think right about now they wish they got loose so caution could give them a break, but no, the caution's not flying. Nothing's happening there. They're going to, the drivers that have followed the pit roads have set the tone for the fuel line, have set this one engaged. And the 18 of Kyle Myers, Boyd Hogg in the 96, and then the 35 of Tyler Meeks are all that remains of this one. Meeks the only driver not in the Blackstone management team side of things, looking to try and play spoiler at them, but to do so, they're going to have to do more than their fair share of hard racing here. This is absolutely insane here, McRae. We are watching right now with many drivers that were going for broke, going for it all, and they could not get enough of the fuel runner, get enough of the timing zone here. Oh, whoa, 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 wait a minute. We got trouble down there. Looks like that's the 33 of Trey Whitehead. No caution, though. If they can just keep it under control. Woohoo! There, they got away with that one on the front straightaway.
Yeah, that would have been, it'd been bad for them top guys. I mean, you had a couple of them go into the pits real late, and that caution would have come out. If they would have took tires, that would have gave them an advantage.
We've seen before where literally the drivers that kind of can survive out the longest and kind of go the distance sometimes don't always win the race. Sometimes just that one little green-white checker is all it takes to completely nullify a race. We saw it at Nashville last night when James Harris had the race locked up, but the final green-white checker cost him and gave Fornshell the opportunity to strike and seize only his third win of the season. Harris would still go on to make it to the top four, and we'll see him in Vegas with Janzik, Wilcox. Hold on, I'll give you guys a full update on that one in just a minute. Look, what we got down there?
We got one to get loose. 14. Daniel Starner got a little bit loose, but I think he got it back together.
It's back together, but the car certainly is not back together in this case here. That thing is completely just taken for a ride and a half here. That is a wild moment there. That could have been net. That could have been very, very bad for their end and their driving, but they are still A-okay.
We got 4 to go. It'll be 3 at the line. If you was Tyler Meeks, when would you make that move to try to go around Boyd Hoggan?
If I'm Meeks, my first priority is back off just a little bit, force the 18 to sway away, and then go off corner 3 and 4, then make the charge. That's the only way you're going to get anything to get off of that 96, because this draft will not allow too much of it. By the way, just to clarify, Janzik, Harris, Meeks, and Trey Whitehead are the final 4 going into the Truck Series race come just a couple weeks from now. So just to finish and clarify that up. But right now, we've got ourselves one last fight, one last duel here between everybody in the field. Meeks and Myers still just kind of patiently awaiting their move and waiting their shot. Eli Childs, Caleb Forsythe, Fortune, and Gibson still also in this fight, in this runoff. There was a lot of equipment tore up today with a green flag high in the air, McRae, but for now, I think the season has started off on a good note and on a good battle zone. But how well will every one of these drivers be able to continue their reign and the dominance they bring to the table? Because when we go next week, 2 weeks from now, to Vegas, the odds will be changed and they will not be in someone's favor for some.
Yeah, that'd be the gambling race, I would call it.
The gambler's race. Alright, well, I think someone might need to make a logo out of that one, because coming off turn number 4, with from green to white, white flag high in the air, we've got 1 lap left. Which is it going to be? Oh, little problems down there for James Harris, Dan Starner, and all of them. They've wrecked it out right off the corners. And the defending champion is going to have himself a little bit of a headache here off the start of this season. Meanwhile, they are going to ride this one out on the end here of the back straightaway right now. Every single driver for themselves. Hagen, Meeks, and Myers. The BSM team trying to work with each other to not let Meeks get the better of them. Meeks though swings it to the right. Sends it to the top. Oh, they wreck hard off turn number 4. They're going to be a wreck hard. It's fast. They are wrecking right off of turn number 4. And Hagen will survive it and come to the line with the victory.
I knew something was going to happen. I knew. With only them 3 cars, I knew something was going to happen.
Childs and Forsythe will come second and third. They will walk away with a solid position and a good run off to the end. But good Lord Almighty, what a wild, wild race. I am speechless right now. I am stunned.
I don't even know where to begin.
Well, I mean, we watched it literally. May have not looked very good on our end here, but folks, when we were watching, it was literally these drivers going straight to the end, straight to the line, trying to hold these things down as best they can. And for Boyd Hagen, well, boy, howdy, did he catch a huge, huge break. We'll go back and look at the replay in a minute on how he was able to win this one. But he will be the starter of it all and the race winner. He was one of the most dominant drivers when he came onto the scene last season. Well, I think it's pretty clear to say he starts it off on a high note now, and it looks like the 18 of Myers never got to the finish. And Shades of Cars, the movie, he's gonna push his friend to the finish line. He's going to get a top 15 out of that, by the way, for the 18. That's absolutely crazy, but hats off and respect to the 83, man, for pulling that one away and pulling his teammate as well as a fellow driver to the finish line. Before we even go and take a look at this one here, we need to look at the replay.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. Daniel Starner in the 14th wrecked with the 56 John Thacker. And they was just sitting there, and Daniel Starner just rolled down a little bit and just caught the 3-pack with.
Oh! My goodness. Well, if there was ever a Daytona moment, I don't think you get it bigger than that one right there for the 96 here of Boyd Hagen. And for Myers, man, I gotta believe a little bit of frustration is certainly in order for him and his crew. You can see Meeks was going for the run. He had it. And then the next thing you know, it was just pure chaos there.
It was like, he gone.
And Myers was trying to get out of the way. The camera actually broke. That's how hard he got hit. Like, well, usually our cameras don't break. He actually destroyed our camera.
It went night-night.
Yeah, it went night-night, alright. It went more than just night-night. I think it went kaput. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to the top 3 finishers in just 1 minute. We're going to look at the race results after everything is now kind of settled back down here on the show and on the track. Absolutely insane to say the least here, folks. This was chaotic. This was crazy. Trying to get the results to pop up, but I'm having a little bit of troubles on that one. Looks like I'm still having my technical difficulties here.
Yeah, like I said earlier in the other night, expect the unexpected, and we just witnessed that. So
there it is, folks. It's finally up. Boyd Hagen wins it. Second goes to Childs. Third to Forsythe. Fourth to Meeks. Fifth to Myers. Sixth to Janzik. Seventh to Lorenzo. Eighth to Whitehead. Ninth to Gibson. 10th to Lawrence. That rounds out the top 10. And really what you can best describe is just an absolute chaotic race from the get-go and from the start to finish. But for some of these drivers, this was a race that they probably won't forget for quite a while. But for top 3 at least, they definitely are going to have something to say. So let's start up with Caleb Forsythe here as he walks away third tonight. Forsythe, congratulations on your top 3 finish here, sir. I mean, if you want to talk about just wild moments and craziness in between, I think this one kind of played out exactly how you thought that might happen.
No, absolutely not. Coming out turn 4, we couldn't see anything until we come up there. It was pure mayhem. I thought I'd finish 5th until the standards rolled out. So it's a good surprise. Dump and run NPR. It's a good finish for us tonight. Had a good time.
Certainly is indeed. Now I know you got a lot really going through your mind, really a lot now that you have to focus on coming 2 weeks from here. But this being a top 3, I would presume this is going to actually help you and the team out a little bit on the confidence to kind of boost up for the later half of this, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd hope so. Unfortunately, it looked like everybody else died there at the end. So I'm not sure what's going on there. We've been on a pretty good run here lately, so hoping we can keep that going. It's 3 top 5s out of the last 3 races we've had, so including Truck Series. So hoping that keeps going for us.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, a solid 3rd place finish as you avoid the carnage and the wreck just enough to get this one. But do you want to thank you for that one?
Fire Department Coffee, Champion Motorsports, or Champion Motors, and then all the guys at BSM, all them guys. And we got to thank you for PTM Racing. Y'all do an amazing job.
Oh, we definitely appreciate it here at Foresight. Thank you again for everything, man. And we'll catch you on by here next time on out. Best of luck here, and the next race is a couple weeks from now.
Absolutely. We'll see you, bye.
For sure there, ladies and gentlemen. Caleb Foresight, the 76, comes away 3rd. As we now bring in the Wild Child, Eli Childs here, your 2nd place finisher here tonight. Childs, hold on a minute. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Eli Childs now joins us in another 2nd place spot. And Childs, this one really, it all boiled down to just one little thing, and that was with the guys up front wreck. Well, they wrecked, but it wasn't because of them. It was also because of some mayhem in front of them, and you managed to kind of square away and kind of get through that obstacle course. What were you seeing when you kind of went through that final leg?
It was madness. I didn't even realize 2nd and 3rd had got taken out, honestly. I was focused on making it through there, and then we come across the line. Caleb was like, oh, we got 2nd and 3rd. So, we, the top 3 there, though, they played it very smart, and we just couldn't catch them. But it was a good race overall. We led a lot of laps and, took some good momentum into Las Vegas next week.
Certainly indeed. Now I know definitely going to be trying to get, 2 weeks from now actually for Vegas as we've got on the calendar. But I mean, the next time you are at Vegas, I mean, that's going to be definitely something to kind of keep your eye on, keep a show on the road for. How tough is it going to be there at Vegas for you and the crew, you think?
These new cars are a challenge. So it'll be interesting. We got 2 weeks though, so that'll give us a lot of practice, and hopefully we can come out and put on a good show.
Absolutely there. Whenever the show was put on here and put down on the track. So who do you want to thank here tonight for the 2nd place finish?
Champion, they're on the car for most of the season. Kevin Kirscher and BSM for putting this on for us. PTM Racing for showing the fans all the good coverage. Jess for putting up with me. Elite Motorsports, they had a bad setup tonight. It was flawless. Was hoping we'd get them a win, but and then Mad, they came on board with us, and then Hannah and Cash are with us every week. So
sure there. Well, nevertheless, Childs, we do appreciate your time for everything here, man. Congratulations. Good to see you back here in the top 2nd spot.
Appreciate it.
Eli Childs, ladies and gentlemen, here comes away 2nd place. Yeah, everything's just having technical difficulties on my end today here. I don't know what's going on down here, McRae, but there is one last driver we can conclude with, though, before we start signing off here. Boyd Hagen now joins us here at Victory Lane here, ladies and gentlemen. And Boyd, first off, first race, next gens, in the first race of Daytona. This one's got to be pretty sweet, but I think we definitely have some more to talk about here. But what was your overall thoughts before the final laps here in this race?
Well, we got caught up in that first mess there when everybody was getting desperate in the middle of the race. I kind of thought from there it was gonna be only a matter of time till we get junked again. But no, it was pretty smooth getting back through the field. I gotta thank Kyle for all the help getting back through there. Once Chris went down, we couldn't really do anything as far as strategy, and we were kind of just on our own island. And I mean, everybody else made that pretty clear earlier on in the race, so we knew it was gonna be tough. And then we picked Tyler up there at the end. for the last run, and I think the three of us ended up pulling the next crew like 4 or 5 seconds in one run, which was nuts. So shout out to Chris Hill. Honestly, he busted ass on this car, and if anybody deserved to win this race, it was him. And gotta thank him and everybody at Legacy for everything they do and all these good cars we can come out here and run good with.
So, kind of looking at this last segment here before we kind of get the final thoughts here. Literally, we watched in disarray and absolute crazy town the entire wreck off turn 4. We watched your replay back. You managed to pretty much shoot the gap and where your teammate wasn't able to. At that point, were you just thinking like, my goodness, I just won the Daytona 500, or I just literally just get the luckiest break of my life?
No, man, I didn't know what to think. I was pretty disappointed in a way because Kyle didn't get the result, ended up 15th, and I mean he did a good job all day. Um, but yeah, anytime you can bring it home at Daytona, it's always good. Especially starting the season off so big. Getting the points right off the hop and getting the win out of the way, and it's a good momentum builder for the coming weeks for sure.
Absolutely, indeed. Any final people you want to thank here for this one today?
Yeah, Kevin Kirchar, Eli for letting me in the league. Blackstone Management, Champion, Green Mountain Grills, everybody that's part of it. Cincinnati. I I want to see Kevin win one of these. We got to get him up front for one of these. So that'll be coming at Dega. I'm looking forward to that for sure. And I'm excited. This
Oh,
Everybody at Legacy's done a good job. Thanks everybody at Blackstone. Thanks Kev again. Thank you for putting on the show you do every week. One man crew and you're killing it all the time.
I'm not one man crew all the time anymore. I got a
Not
McRae
anymore.
here right beside me, so I think we got a little
Yeah,
bit
I'm
of help here.
here. I'm here.
Well, there you are. All right.
All
This is
right,
good.
Boyd. Thank you so much for your time and the support, sir. We appreciate it all, man. Best of luck as you get set up for 2 weeks from now at Las Vegas.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, the race winner and the winner of Daytona for the first one of the season, Boyd Hagen. Well, right now I'm just going to look at this here, right, and let's just kind of get the thoughts out of the way here. But this was, without a doubt, just absolutely nuts. And it wasn't just because, obviously, we had the technical difficulties and all that stuff kind of coming down on our end here. But, I mean, looking at it this way, we're getting past plate track racing. We're now going towards mile and a half and that Las Vegas Motor Speedway track. You did tell me right before we came on the show you felt like that maybe we could be going more towards in IRL too, that mile and a half rather than a 2 mile. I said 2 mile was probably kind of a better start because at least you can start getting a grip from the 2.5 to a 2 mile, but it's the complete opposite here. We're going now a mile and a half, and that definitely is going to give these guys something to think about and really have to work around, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, with this being a 2.5 mile and you going to a mile and a half, that's a mile less than what they just run. And with the turns and stuff, and a bunch of them talking about with the cars not having enough downforce and taking the turns too fast or whatever, and having more wrecks and more spin outs. So it's gonna be the race to watch.
For sure, it will be a lot to go down with. It'll be a lot to focus in on and pay very, very close attention to. But there's one thing we've always said here on the broadcast, we've always said on the show, is that you can never expect anything less but the unexpected. I personally feel like this next race coming up, what we're going to be bear witnessing, what we're going to be watching out for is point blank just an all out day of racing, an out of control substance that really could go either way at Vegas. We saw it at Daytona, but now going to Vegas, I think it's definitely going to be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild race, I think, but it might surprise us. I mean, it's Vegas, so it might be a clean race the whole race with maybe one or two cautions. I mean, you never know.
For sure. Now, nevertheless, final thoughts here, McRae, before we start ready to sign off tonight here from Daytona.
Like I said earlier, expect the unexpected, and we thought the race was going to be over with the top three, and you come out of four on the last lap, so and caused that big wreck and took out second and third. So, I mean, it was a wild ride this race.
It was a wild ride. It was a wild race, and my opinion, you know, we can go about it and look at it many different angles, many different ways, but at the same time, I think we always just need to say it is Daytona. So this is literally what it all comes down to and what it all boils down to sometimes. You either love it or you hate it, but at the end of the day, you can't say it wasn't quite the show. So race fans, that signs us off here from Champion Power Equipment, Fast and Fun Cup Series. A big thank you again to Champion Power Equipment. Thick thank you to all you fans out there. Thank you so much for your support. And we will talk to you all next time when the green flag flies on the show.